Good morning, students. In the earlier chapter, lesson number 8, motion, we had studied about motion, stationary state of the body, distance, displacement, speed, velocity, and acceleration. In this chapter, we'll be studying the reason behind the change in state of the motion of the body and the laws related to motion. Introduction part. In the earlier chapter, we had seen that the body from stationary state comes into motion as well as a body in motion comes to a stationary state in the motion chapter. But the reason behind this change in state of motion of the body is nothing but the push or pull which is exerted on the object or the body. So just let us take an example to understand that. While we are riding on a bike on a straight path without any obstacle, we provide accelerator to our vehicle, due to which the speed of our vehicle, or in other words, the velocity of our vehicle increases. While in the second example, as we are on the straight path, when we observe an obstacle, we apply brake to the vehicle so that we can avoid the accident. At that time, the velocity of the body decreases and the vehicle comes to an halt. At that time, we apply a pull. So, what is this push or pull? According to physics, the push or pull which is exerted on a body or an object which changes its state of motion is known as force. I repeat, the push or pull which is exerted on the body or object which is in motion, which changes its state of motion, is known as force. There are different effects of external force on the body. First, shape of the body changes. Just to understand this point, place a ball between two palms and apply pressure on it. You are able to see the shape of the ball changes. Second, position of the body changes. Suppose a book is placed on the table, which is stationary. As you apply force on it, you are able to see that the position of the book changes. Third, state of motion of the body changes. Suppose a vehicle is parked in the parking. It is in stationary state. When we on the engine and apply accelerator to it, it comes into motion. Whereas a vehicle which is in motion, when we off the engine, it comes to a halt. Last is velocity of the body changes. For that, we had earlier seen the example. Suppose we are on a straight path. As we observe, the road is empty or clear, we provide accelerator to the vehicle, due to which the velocity of the body increases. Whereas when we are on a straight path or on a traffic road, we apply brakes to avoid accident. At that time, the velocity of the body changes. So, a question which is important for this force is explain the effects of external force on the body. There are four effects of external force on the body. It is shape of the body changes, position of the body changes, state of motion of the body changes, and velocity of the body changes. Now, the next topic is balanced and unbalanced force. Before moving to its definition, we'll just take an example. Place a wooden piece on the table. Place a wooden block which has hooks on both right as well as left side. Tie a thread to it and hang it with the help of a pen. Put equal amount of weight on both the left and right side of the pen. We will see that the wooden block remains stationary. It won't move neither to the right side nor to the left side. But if we keep weight on any one side more than that of the other side, you will be able to see that the wooden block moves towards the side in which the weight kept is more. So Now let us see the definition of balanced and unbalanced force. When a body under the influence of two or more than two forces does not change its state of motion or rest, then the type of forces are said to be balanced forces. The resultant of balanced force is zero. You won't be able to see any displacement in that case. Unbalanced force. If a body under the influence of two or more than two forces changes its state of motion or rest, then the two forces are said to be unbalanced forces. The resultant of unbalanced force is non-zero. Why non-zero? You will be able to see the displacement on the either side where the weight is kept more. In order to precise understand this, we will take an example of tug of war during the sports team. When force is applied by the players of two teams, A and B, is equal, at that time you will be able to see that the red ribbon which is tied at the middle part of the rope doesn't move on the either side. But if any one of the team applies more force, then the red color ribbon which is tied at the center part of the rope will be moving towards their side, as well as the players on the opposite team will be getting displaced or move towards the team which applies more force. So I think so you might have understood what is balanced and unbalanced force. The next topic is the thought of Aristotle about motion. Aristotle is a philosopher, thinker. According to him, a body tries to maintain its state of rest or motion unless and until an unbalanced force acts on it. I repeat, the thought of Aristotle about motion is a body tries to maintain its state of rest or motion unless and until an unbalanced force acts on it. To understand this, we'll just take an example. Suppose your vehicle is parked in the parking. Until you put the engine on and apply accelerator to it, it remains in the stationary state itself. Whereas when you are on the highway and moving with a constant velocity, until you apply accelerator or the brake, you won't be able to see any change in the state of motion of the body. Galileo's experiment and law of inertia. First one, when a ball moves downward, its velocity increases. If you take a slope and just roll a ball from upward to the ground level, you'll be able to see that the velocity of the ball increases. That is, ball has accelerated motion. V1 will be less than V2, or in other words, V2 is greater than V1. Just in order to understand this, just take the example of the slide which we have in our garden. When we try to displace ourselves from the top of the slide, we'll be able to see the velocity with which you are coming down in the initial stage will be less. But as you move towards the ground level, your velocity increases. So in this case, you can see that the final velocity is greater than initial velocity. Second, when the ball moves upwards, its velocity decreases. That is, the ball has retarded motion. V1 will be greater than V2. Just try to roll a ball from the down towards the top level. In order to allow the ball to reach the top part, you need to apply more force. And as the ball reaches the top, it comes into a halt. So here we can see that more force is applied in the initial stage in comparison to that of the final stage. So V1 is greater than V2. That is, initial velocity is greater than final velocity. Now, suppose the ball is moving on a frictionless horizontal surface. There might be no change in its speed. So it is said to be moving in constant velocity. At that time, V1 will be equal to V2. Its initial velocity will be equal to final velocity. One more time, the experiments carried out by Galileo on slopes. When a ball moves downwards, its velocity increases. The ball has carried out accelerated motion. Your final velocity will be greater than initial velocity. When a ball moves upward, its velocity decreases because in order to allow the ball to reach to the top part of the slope, we need to apply more acceleration or more velocity. The ball has retarded motion. V1 is greater than V2. That is, initial velocity is greater than final velocity. But if the ball is moving on a frictionless horizontal plane, there might be no change in its speed. So it is said that the ball is moving with constant velocity. Final velocity will be equal to initial velocity. Now moving on further, when Galileo took two slopes and placed it at an angle of inclination similar to each other or equal to each other, symbolizing it as theta 1 and theta 2, and when he rolled a ball from a particular height, he was able to see that the ball which was on roll from the slope 1 towards the slope 2, it attains the same height, on the slope 2. But as he kept the angle of inclination of the first slope constant and decreased the angle of inclination of the second slope, he was able to see that the ball had to travel larger distance in comparison to that of the earlier case. But it reaches the same height, but the distance which it had to travel was larger in comparison to the first two. So keeping the first slope's angle of inclination constant, we tried to decrease the angle of inclination of the second slope. And at that time, the ball was reaching the same height, but the distance covered by the ball was larger, that you can see in your textbook. Now, the first law of motion, which is also known as Galileo's law of inertia. Now, what is the statement of first law of motion? First law of motion suggests the external effect which changes the state of motion of the body or rest is known as force. The example to understand this particular statement, we might be playing carom at our home, pile up the coins in a format of a multi-storage building, place the king coin on the top. With the help of a striker, when you strike the coins which have been piled up, you'll be able to see that the bottom coin gets displaced as the other coins try to maintain the state of rest. But as the support or the bottom coin gets displaced, the coins fall down because the support at which they were standing is been displaced. The striker has hit the bottom coin. The force was applied on the bottom coin, so the bottom coin gets displaced, whereas the other coins try to maintain their state of rest. But as the support is moved, it falls down. One more example, which you can do at your home, is take a glass tumbler, place a visiting card or a playing card on it. Place a 2 rupee, 5 rupee, or 10 rupee coin as per your availability. Strike the card from any one of the corner. While applying the force on the card, we are able to see that the card gets displaced under the influence of the force applied by us, but the coin tries to maintain its state of rest. But as the support of the card on which it was lying is displaced, it falls inside the tumbler. It suggests that a body tries to maintain its state of rest or motion unless and until an unbalanced force acts on it. This is the statement of first law of motion. First law of motion is also known as Galileo's law of inertia. A question arises, which Law of motion defines force. Galileo's law of inertia, or you can say first law of motion.